Hey everybody, welcome to ThinkWire. Today we're going to discuss getting things done and 12 tips you can use to fight procrastination. Make sure you watch till the end because we're going to toss in some bonus tips to help you get started today. Procrastination is sometimes referred to as an internal resistance that stops us from getting started with any artistic or entrepreneurial project. This resistance actively works against us and stops us from ever getting started. This internal resistance becomes activated by fear. When we give in to that fear, it can lead to more resistance, giving it more strength and creating a vicious cycle. This resistance never stops us from doing simple chores or keeping us from doing things that we love, like going to the beach or playing video games. Instead, it keeps us from focusing on a project or activity that we know will move us forward. Procrastination usually involves us ignoring an activity that's unpleasant, but the reality is this: the more important the task, the more resistance we experience trying to get started. Experts say that the more resistance that you experience trying to get started, then the more important the unmanifested project or art is to you. Procrastination over a long period of time can lead to becoming demotivated or disillusioned with the project that we set out to complete. In some extreme cases, it can lead to job loss if we don't complete our assigned work on time. Here are 12 common sense tips you can use to fight procrastination. Number 1, recognize that you're procrastinating. The first step to getting to the bottom of a lot of our problems is recognizing that there's a problem in the first place. You might be putting off tasks you need to complete because you've had to reprioritize the tasks at hand versus the other tasks in your workload. Is it just a simple delay, or are you actively procrastinating? You're probably procrastinating if you're doing the following. Try to be in the right mood or wait till the right time to tackle a task. Fill your calendar or your day with meaningless or low priority tasks. Read emails over and over again without making a decision on what to do. Start a high priority project and then get up to get coffee or something to eat. Leave items on your to-do list for long periods of time when they're not important. Many times, it can be helpful for you to understand why it is that you're procrastinating on a specific task. Consider asking yourself, I'm avoiding this task because of, or I'm avoiding getting started because I'm afraid that. Identifying any potential fears or hang-ups you have can help you realize that things aren't always as bad as they seem. Identifying any potential fears or hang-ups you have can help you realize things aren't always as bad as they seem. Number 2, break work into smaller steps. It's no secret that big tasks can be a bit terrifying or seem overwhelming, so we put them off for as long as possible. However, by taking a big job and breaking it down into smaller concrete tasks, you can reduce your initial fear and help get yourself started. Then you can focus on one part at a time. If you're still finding it hard to get started after breaking the task down, then break the task down even more. Soon the task is going to be so incredibly simple that you'll start thinking to yourself, I might as well get started and do it now. Number 3, adjust your environment. Different environments that we work in can have differing impacts on how much work we can get done. Is your work environment conducive to getting things done, or are you struggling to keep your eyes open? If your workspace makes you feel like taking a nap, you should look into changing up your workspace. The thing is, if our environment makes us feel inspired, that feeling can change over a long period of time. If your workspace no longer makes you feel inspired, it may be time to change things up. As an example, if you work in a loud, bustling public place with constant moving and noise, then you may want to find a quiet area where you can sit down and focus. A simple way to change your work environment and help you to avoid procrastinating and focus is to remove physical and digital distractions. For example, disable notifications and alerts on your desktop devices or put your cell phone on Do Not Disturb. In essence, you want to unplug yourself so that you can plug in and focus on the task at hand. Number 4, why are you procrastinating? Sometimes it's helpful to understand why you're procrastinating before you take steps to fix it. As an example, are you giving a specific task or project the runaround because you find it boring or unpleasant? If that's the case, then you'll want to take steps to get it done as quickly as possible to get it out of the way. That way you can focus on the aspects of your work that are more enjoyable. Many times, poor organization leads to procrastination. People who are successful often are able to overcome it by using prioritized to-do lists, project management apps, and scheduling. With just your phone alone, there are a variety of tools that can help you organize your tasks by priority and deadline. It may seem surprising, but perfectionists can be well-known procrastinators. Many times, they'd rather avoid a task completely if they believe that they lack the skills to perform the task perfectly rather than imperfectly. One of the most common causes of procrastination is poor decision-making. If you can't prioritize what you should do, it's likely that you'll resist or put off taking any action at all in case you do the wrong thing. Number 5. Use the under 10-minute rule. Do you have a task that can be completed in under 10 minutes? If you have a task that can be completed in 10 minutes or less, take care of it as quickly as you can and then move on to the next task at hand. This technique works well, and here's why. Chances are you're more likely to procrastinate with small tasks, which allows them to get larger and larger over the course of your day. What winds up happening is that you put more time and thought into it than what's needed. Often, it's just best to get it done and out of the way. Also, you're more likely to get results much more quickly when a task is completed. Small tasks often run the risk of falling by the wayside in the workflow. It'll get done later, but later never comes. Keep in mind that the under 10-minute rule works best if you have room in your schedule. If your time is consumed by back-to-back meetings or a variety of assignments that require absolute attention and focus, you won't have any time. Number 6, focus on something doable. It's no big secret that procrastination causes us tons of stress and adds pressure, but the trick is in how the pressure gets relieved. Similar to the 10-minute rule, this tip to avoid procrastination is to find out the next action you need to take, no matter how small it may seem, that will move something forward. It can be a phone call, a project, or another smaller task. Make these small items your next task and then do it. The rationale is simple. When your brain perceives the task is doable, your energy goes up and your sense of direction and drive increases. You'll start to motivate yourself and get things done. Whenever you feel like procrastination is starting to get the best of you, then break down whatever you feel like procrastinating on and turn it into something simple that's doable. One step will lead to another, then another. Next thing you know, you've got momentum. Number 7, the art of the delay. An alternative approach to getting your procrastination under control is to embrace what's known as the art of the delay. What exactly is the art of the delay? It seems counterintuitive, but sometimes delaying something on purpose so that you can focus your attention on urgent tasks can make you feel more like you're being challenged, get you motivated, and give you the spark you need to start getting things done. This strategy works best if you're the type of person who works well or thrives under pressure. Some people enjoy pandemonium and are able to focus under intense pressure. But here's the thing. If you actively choose to procrastinate to take advantage of this technique, make sure you don't bring any unwanted attention to your coworkers. They may not enjoy the pressure as much as you do. Number 8, bet on yourself. Accountability buddies can be helpful and a powerful motivator. A fun and simple way to take this concept further and up the ante is to make a bet with your buddy. Pick a time and a day within the next week that you'll have the task completed, and then tell your friend or coworker, "I'll take you out to lunch or buy you a coffee if I haven't completed this task by Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Make sure you give your accountability buddy a date and a time in the next week, and in order for them to claim their prize, they need to check on you on the date and time that you set. If you didn't get the task done, it's time for you to pay up. Number 9, create a timeline with specific deadlines. Just having one deadline for your project is asking for procrastination to set in. It's because we feel like we have plenty of time and we keep pushing everything back. The next thing you know, it's too late. It can be helpful to break down your project and then create a timeline with specific deadlines for each small task. This lets you know that you must finish each small task by a specific date. Put skin in the game. For example, if you don't finish a small task by the end of the day, it will jeopardize everything else that's planned after that date. Number 10, remind yourself why. If you're struggling to get started on a project, it can be helpful to take some time and remind yourself why you want to get a certain task finished. Many times, it can help you get things rolling by knowing that you're doing something of value. Sometimes you have to just dig deeper and try and find personal meaning for the task at hand. It might be as simple as racing a coworker to complete your task before they complete theirs. Number 11, make a list. You knew that it would get down to making a list at some point. Lists can be fun and are awesome when you can throw them out once you're all done. Lists are also very helpful when you're procrastinating because they help us deal with factors that can cause procrastination, aversion, and rewards. Here's how it works. Making a list makes you feel like getting something done. Boom! You've got your reward. When you cross something off your list, it feels good. Boom! Another reward. Making a list helps to reduce the risk of forgetting to do something, which means you could mess things up. Boom! Happy brain. Don't just make any list. Lists should be concrete, granular, and doable. Your first item should be something that you can get done immediately. Number 12, have an anti-procrastinating strategy. Sometimes it's helpful to reframe a task by considering its relevance and meaning. Oftentimes, it can be important to acknowledge that we overestimate how unpleasant a task really is. Often, procrastination is a habit, which means you can't beat it overnight. In order to break a habit, you need to avoid practicing the habit. So here's a few more strategies you can use that will give you the best chance at succeeding. Forgive yourself for procrastinating in the past. Commit to the task and focus on doing. Give yourself a reward for completing a difficult task on time. Use peer pressure and ask someone to check on you and hold you accountable. Rephrase internal dialogue from need to and use I choose to. This will make you feel more empowered. Get unpleasant tasks out of the way early. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of personal development, self-help, and much more. Check out this video, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.